Friends, 30 seconds left. Slowly bring back your awareness to your body and your surroundings. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please place your fingers on your eyes for a few seconds, and then you may open your eyes. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to this evening's wisdom sharing session. We start this evening's wisdom sharing session with a Sufi tale. A king had a dream. In the dream, he saw a shadow, a very dark, dangerous-looking, ferocious shadow, standing just behind him. The king asked, "Who are you?" The shadow said, "I am your death." And before the sun sets tomorrow, I am coming to meet you. I have come just to inform you. The king wanted to ask, is there any way to escape from you? But he was so terrified that he woke up. He couldn't ask, and the dream disappeared. Now, this was in the middle of the night. But what he did was he gathered all the wise men and he asked, what does this dream mean? Can you interpret it for me? There is no time. So please let me know immediately. So all the Freuds and the Jungs and the Adlers of his day were called immediately to interpret the dream. They came with their big books, the scriptures and the charts, and the king actually became more frightened. He said, don't waste your time, just interpret the dream. They said it is a very intricate thing, very complex. It has never happened before. So there is no precedent. And therefore, we can't interpret it immediately. The dream has to be analyzed, and it will take time. The king prayed to them, do this as soon as possible because I have to know and do something. The sun is just going to rise, and once the sun has risen, it will set, and then there is no time. The sun will move and set, and within 12 hours, everything will be over. They started discussing, and there was much discussion, as it always happens with people whose minds are full of knowledge. Everyone was of a different opinion, and the king became more and more confused. The king had one old servant. The old servant came near to him and whispered in the king's ears, don't wait. I know these people. Even if you have 100 years to live, they will not come to any conclusion. They have never come to a conclusion. For centuries, they have been discussing. Conclusion is not their goal at all. Discussion is their interest. They are philosophers. For thousands of years, they have been discussing and have reached no conclusion. Philosophy has no conclusion. And every answer that has been given by these fellows creates 100 questions. So simply don't wait for them. The king said, then what am I supposed to do? The old man said, I am a common man, not a learned man. And as far as I can see, you should do a common sense thing, and that is to escape from this palace. This palace is dangerous. At least this much is certain, that you should not be here at the moment when death comes. So go far away, as far as possible. Now, this was worth considering. So the king said, okay, there is no other possibility because these fellows are confusing me even more. So let them discuss, let them decide, and I will escape. When we have fear, escape seems to be the only door. So he took his fastest horse, a wonderful horse, and he escaped from the palace. When the sun was rising, he was out of the town. When the sun was setting, he was hundreds of miles away. And when the sun was just going to set, he reached a big tree. He thought this will be a good place for the night. He came down from his horse and he thanked the horse, saying, you are just wonderful. You are the only friend who helped me in such a great difficulty. When scholars were of no use, you helped me. At least you brought me so far away. While he was saying this and petting his horse, suddenly he saw the same shadow behind him. He trembled and he said, what, you have come? The shadow said, yes, I was waiting under this tree for you the whole day. And I was afraid whether your horse would come or not. The place is so far away from your palace. Let me thank the horse. He's really wonderful. So whatsoever we do and wherever we escape, we cannot escape death. Wherever we reach, death will be waiting for us there. If we are rich, we can have a fast horse. If we are poor, we'll have to walk. But we will reach. We will reach anyway. Once born, death is certain. Everything else is uncertain. Why is death so certain? Nothing can be done about it. Science may help us to prolong life, but death cannot be destroyed because it is implied in the very phenomenon of birth. It has happened already. Death is one pole of the same phenomenon of which birth is the beginning, the other pole. It's just like a magnet. On a magnet, we have two poles, the positive and the negative. You can cut off the negative pole, you can cut the magnet in half, but immediately the negative pole will appear on the place where we've cut the magnet. Now there are two magnets, and each magnet will have two poles. Before, there was one magnet, and it had two poles, negative and positive. Now we've cut the magnet into two pieces. The one which had the positive pole will immediately create the negative. And the one which had the negative pole will immediately create the positive. We can go on cutting the magnet. However many fragments we cut, each fragment will have two poles because a magnet cannot exist with one pole. That is impossible. Similarly, life has two poles. Birth is the positive pole, death is the negative. We cannot destroy. We can at the most prolong. We can at the most make a bigger magnet, but the other pole will always be there. We can cut it, make a small magnet, but the other pole will be there. This polarity is absolute. So whatsoever science thinks or imagines, it can never happen. Death cannot be destroyed through science. Now, this is part of the Akshi Upanishad. Sankriti has gone to the sun god to get knowledge. Now, the sun god now explains how we can actually escape death. He says, I shall now explain to you this most rare knowledge, upon the attainment of which you will become free while yet dwelling in this body. He says, the knowledge that he imparts is, see in all beings the Brahman who is one, unborn, still, imperishable, infinite, immutable, and conscious. So seeing, live in peace and bliss. Do not see anything except the self and the supreme. This state is known as yoga. Rooted thus in yoga, carry out your deeds. So the first thing that the sun god said was, see in all beings the Brahman. This too is to create a situation, remember. This is not a teaching, this is giving a device. Currently, what do we see? We see trees, we see rocks, we see man, we see dogs, we see cows, we see many things, but not one. We go on counting waves, but we don't see the hidden ocean. So the sun god talks to Sankriti, and the first thing he says is, see the one. Apparently, there are many, but behind the many, the one is hidden. So whenever we see the many, remember that this is just the surface, not the soul. We need to penetrate deep. Forget the surface and try to know the center, the depth. The depth is one. When we go to the sea, there are millions of waves, We never see the sea. We always see the waves because they are on the surface. But every wave is nothing but a waving of the sea. The sea is waving through all the waves. Remember the ocean and forget the waves. Because waves don't really exist. Only the ocean exists. The ocean can exist without the waves, but the waves cannot exist without the ocean. If there is no ocean, there can be no waves, or can there be? Then what will wave in them? There cannot be. But the ocean can be. There is no need for the waves. The ocean can be silent. If there is no wind blowing, the ocean will be there, silent. The ocean can exist without the waves, but the waves cannot exist without the ocean. So waves are just the surface, and waves are accidental through the action of the winds. They have come into existence. They have come into existence from the without. Some accident has created them. If the wind is not blowing, the ocean will be silent and non-waving. So waves are accidents created from the without. On the surface, the ocean is something totally different. And the same is the case with all beings. The tree is also a wave. The man is also a wave. The rock is also a wave. And behind the rock, behind the tree, behind the man, the same ocean is hidden. That ocean is called by the Upanishads the Brahman. The Brahman, the ultimate soul, the absolute soul, is just the ocean. So look at a man, but don't cling to the surface. Immediately move to the depth and see the Brahman hidden there. That's what the sun god said to Sankriti. See in all beings the Brahman who is one, not many. So wherever we feel any distinction, know that we are actually on the surface. All distinctions are on the surface. Many belongs to the surface. In English, we have a word universe that is almost parallel to Brahman. Uni means one. But whatsoever we see around us is not universe. We may call it a universe, but it is not. It is just a multiverse. Many we see, not the one. Names we see, not the nameless. Waves we see, but not the ocean. This is to create a situation. We need to look deep and not be deceived by the surface. And soon we will become aware of the ocean all around. Then we will see that we are also just a wave. Our ego is just a wave. Behind that ego, the nameless, the one is hidden. That is why Sun God says, see in all beings the Brahman who is one, who is unborn. Because only waves are born, the ocean remains the same. The many are born, the one remains the same. We are born and we will have to die, hence the fear of death. So much fear of death, but the Brahman in us who is unborn and undying. If we look and see and feel the unborn, the fear of death disappears. And there is no other way to destroy the fear. We cannot be immortal as an ego. But if we look deep and if we can find the depth of our ego where ego is no more, if we can see the ocean beyond the wave, we are already immortal. But that one which is hidden behind was never born and it will never die. Unless we come to know something which is not born, we cannot become deathless. And that is why Sun Goddess says again, see in all beings the Brahman who is one, unborn, still, imperishable, infinite, immutable, and conscious. So once we become aware of the one behind the many, the multiverse disappears, the universe appears, we will be at peace, because then we cannot die. The ocean cannot die. The life energy that is waving in us cannot die. And friends, this will be the result of meditation. Thank you everyone for joining this evening's meditation and wisdom sharing session. If anyone has got anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and share. Thank you.
For our viewers who were online. So just 1 second, Dinesh, sorry for that.
It's okay.
So meanwhile, friends, if anyone wants to share, please, you may continue. Yeah. Oh, yeah, then I will be sharing. Please go ahead.
Right, although I joined late because I had gone somewhere and that I could not avoid, but the talk was very, very nice and reminding me again and again what I keep reading. The only trouble sometimes that I go through, not the only, but all the time, but I try to meditate and go over it, that then I have to live the worldly life as well, have to maintain the worldly relations as well and everything. So, and there can be some difference of opinions, interests, and all that. So, how to deal with that? That is what I'm trying with myself. And yes, meditation helps me, as Dinesh Bhai has been saying, that it does calm me down and say, calm down and just think, take it this as a challenge and go beyond it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nilimaji?
Yes, yeah. Thanks a lot, Dinesh. Osho's teachings are always indeed, we need a lot of understanding as well to understand the depth of his meaning in each and every word. I also relate to your previous topic, when we put one question, there will be, again, there will be a chance for another 100 questions. And it keeps on going like a neural network. So, is the same thing that what the king has been done, he will always be thinking who will be giving answers, and then he just needs to come to a conclusion at that situation. So which means trusting ourselves. So as you were mentioning, I was just only recollecting this thing, because death is like certain, as it has been mentioned, but what we have been doing, how we have been taking decisions, how we are very clear in each and every moment of what we are doing, even for that, we require meditation, because that gives clarity. So even when that final day comes, if we ask a question to ourselves of what we have done, at that situation, no one else comes in our mind. If the only thing I feel that what comes is like, have we lived happily throughout? Have we lived, have we learned a lot? So this is why it is very important that all of us to upgrade our wisdom, to learn all the time. And thanks a lot for providing this in-depth concept, especially with examples. I really like the ocean story, because as you mentioned, waves make us feel that, we are as if floating, moving, we are enjoying, but the depth is always calm. When we go to the beneath, it is always calm. So we actually keep floating and we feel that's the joy. So in order to experience even more, we should go that deeper state. And for that, we require a lot of discipline as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I really enjoyed, and Osho's teachings are always a way to go. So thank you so much, Dinesh, also for explaining with that, intensity, that how Osho has explained to put that each word as the same to us. So thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dinesh bhai. It was Dinesh. It was really very thought-provoking and depth, taking into depth with meditation.
By the way, I just also wanted to mention one thing, Dinesh, if you don't mind. As you are giving an example that the meaning of the universe, uni is oneness. Dinesh, are you there?
Sorry, can I ask something? Hello?
Yes, but I don't know if Dinesh is there. Just a moment, my dear.
Yes.
It looks like probably there is an internet issue.
Hello. I want to say thank you very much. It was a wonderful story and very fine. Super. For me, I am new I am a Christ, and I want to ask you, can I compare Brahman with Yahweh? Yahweh's name is here I am, I be, I am one. I never beginning and never ending. Here it is everywhere. And it means I am close around me and everywhere. I try to see that Brahma and my feeling of God is the same.
Yes, yes. So here, when they say Brahman means the universal self, the higher self, the oneness. Right? So when you mention, all these things are just the names outside, Veronica, like Jehovah or, anything is just a differentiation to mention that, for us, there is one sort of deity. But in the end, the knowledge is just the same and the oneness is just the same. I think Dinesh ji is here as well. Probably would you like to, I think I would like to ask Dinesh ji this question. So, Dinesh ji, there has been a question kept by Veronica because it has been mentioned Yehovah, and she was asking if the Brahman and Yehovah, everyone is the same. So, if you could answer with your words, it will be even more.
So when we look at the ultimate, whether we call it Brahman or Jehovah or whatever word name that we give to the ultimate is the ultimate and it is the same.
It's the
The
same.
oneness, the oneness is the same there because it goes into a world of non-duality. So how can there be anything different? How can there be anything separate?
And it was interesting the people who like to discuss. I think it's the different religions who make problem, and it is all the same one. It gives only one, and
Yes.
the problem are the discussions.
Yes.
We have all one Brahma, the focus of love and creation.
Yes.
And I am happy when it is possible that all people, so like in the meditation, come together in one Holy Ghost.
Yes.
And
True.
I thank you very much. It was very good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining on mobile and connecting with us immediately, Dinesh ji. Thanks a lot.
Right. My computer had a blue screen death. So
Okay.
Your computer came to know about Brahman, so
yes, I think it got awakening. So
wonderful, wonderful. Yes, friends. Anyone else would like to share? Okay. Then in that case, once again, thanks a lot, Dinesh ji.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, and friends, yes, in 1 hour we will be having the session on Arcturians. So let us connect back in an hour, friends. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.